Were you deciding on whether to sell or rent your condo or townhouse? Stay tuned because today that's what I'm going to be talking about. Hey YouTube, what is going on? Brandon here with another real estate video. And today I wanted to talk specifically about condo and townhouse owners in Illinois. Should you sell your unit or should you rent out your unit? This is a big decision. Stay tuned. Watch this entire video because there's a lot of information you're not going to want to miss. Hi, my name is Brandon. I'm a local realtor in Illinois. Now, if this video ends up being helpful, please make sure to like the video. Any questions at all, comment below. And if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. If you had any real estate related questions, you wanted to sell your condo, you were needing a push in the right direction, if you wanted a valuation report for your condo or townhouse, there's going to be a link down below for you to click and you can enter in your information there. But why don't we begin the discussion of selling or renting your condo or townhouse in Illinois. Now, the first thing you're going to want to make sure of is you want to make sure of the value. You want to know how much your condo or townhouse is worth. That is very important because you're going to want to make a deciding factor between selling and renting. You're going to need the value of your unit. Now, this is going to be a different market analysis because you're going to do two market analysis. You're going to do the value of your unit and then you're going to do what would it rent for in the current condition. What are units within your vicinity going to rent for? So number one, you need to come up with the value, and the way you come up with the value is you can use a realtor. Mainly, the realtor is going to be a lot more experienced. You can pay for an appraiser, but that's going to cost some money, or you could do it yourself. Aside from that, if you want to contact me directly and use me as your agent, my phone number is here on the screen. It'll also be down below. So you can call, text. I'm going to leave my email down there as well and my website so you can contact me in various different ways. Now, the next point I need to talk about very quickly after the point I just talked about is you have got to determine if your building, if your property management company, your homeowners association, if they allow you to rent your unit. If they do not allow you to rent your unit, and in a lot of places, a lot of property management companies, a lot of condo buildings do not allow you to rent out your unit. So if that is the case, you're really just left with one option, and that is to sell or not to sell. Now, as I was just talking about earlier in the video, you can actually get a market analysis by clicking the link down below. Now, the next thing you want to determine if you're going to be selling or if you're going to be renting is if you sell it, what would your bottom line number be? And if you rent it, what would the amount of cash flow be from that unit? So you have to determine, because that cash flow number is always going to be on a monthly basis, is always going to be much lower. Most cases is going to be much lower than your bottom line number if you actually just sold out of the unit. So you can do that by doing a net sheet. I would highly recommend a realtor do this for you because you really need to determine a lot of the different expenses. And when it comes to a condo, you might think that it's just the mortgage that you owe minus the sales price, and really it's a lot more complex than that. There's a lot of other fees. You also have to, in the state of Illinois, use a real estate attorney to buy and sell real estate. So that is another factor. It's another cost that you really have to take into consideration. Now, when it comes to the rent price, you want to make sure that you actually are in the green if you rent it out. If you are going to rent out this place and the payment is not low enough to where you have a low payment and then you have a rent price that is up here, and then you also have little expenses that are in between here. You have to keep some reserves for damages, for repairs that may come up in the next year or two that you're renting out the place. You have to include all of the fees that are associated with owning the condo that you're going to be covering and not the renter. If the renter's not going to be covering it, it goes into your expenses. Now, what is it going to take to get this condo ready? Does it need some updating? Does it need some new paint? Does it need some new flooring before you rent it out or sell it? All these costs, you're going to have to determine these things before you really make a major decision, like whether to sell or to rent out your place. Now, another thing you have to determine, of course, is where are you going to live? Where are you moving to next? Do you have something in place already where you just need to move in? Or do you still need to purchase your home, another home or another condo or another townhouse? Are you going to be renting for a while? What is your plan? Because the real estate process takes a certain amount of time, but once that time has transpired, there are options for you to actually stay in your unit and actually take post-possession, which means you sold the unit, but now you're actually paying rent to the current owner. It's not called rent, it's just a fee that you would basically cover the expenses for the current owner. So there's a lot of different options. Now there's of course two different things here. If you sell the unit, it's sold, you get your bottom line price at the closing table. You determine whether you have a plan wherever you're going. Now, if you rent the place, it's a little bit more complicated because you have to make some more decisions there. Once you've rented the place out, and here's a bonus tip, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people will try to rent places on their own and they don't get much traction, or they don't get really good applications, low credit scores, people that don't qualify with income. When you actually have the ability to consult a real estate agent and have them market it for you and put it on the MLS. Usually in Illinois, what a realtor will charge is they will charge you your first month's rent. So the first month's rent will be split between the buyer agent and then your listing agent for that rental property. Same way it would work if you were selling the place, except it's off of that total dollar amount of the sale. This is just off of the first month of rent. Some agents may do it a little bit differently. Just ask them what their process is. It is well worth the money. When I rented my house in Naperville, I did that exact thing. I had to share half of my first month's rent. Because I'm the agent, I was able to take half, but then I gave half to another agent. And you would say, well, that's half of your first month's rent. Why would you do that? Because they brought me an excellent tenant. And without that agent, it would take me maybe years to find these tenants. And I'm not over exaggerating. So let me back up a little bit. Before the sale, before the rental, you need to understand the legalities. Making a mistake with paperwork, not disclosing something, or something along the lines that is as far as the legal process of selling your condo or townhouse can result in legal problems. And so that is why you want to make sure you consult with a good real estate attorney that is going to answer all your questions, is going to make you aware of all these things. If you're working with an agent, make sure that really a lot of the liability is on them to make sure that you are up to date and filling out all the paperwork that you need to fill out. If you're doing it on your own, that's going to be something that is tricky. You're going to have to decide. You're going to really have to stick close to a real estate attorney to get you through that process. So I know I've covered some points that are kind of further along in the process of selling your condo or townhouse or renting it out. Really, I guess at the end of the day, what it mainly is your bottom line number. Now, if you don't sell your condo, the equity that you have in the condo or townhouse, that remains there. So if you had $50,000 of equity, for example, that $50,000 stays there, and depending on market conditions, could go up or could go down. However, over the long term, that equity is going to keep increasing. Within 5 to 10 years, it could be $60,000, $70,000. But during those first few years, maybe it went down a little bit, but it really doesn't matter because you didn't sell at that point. In 5 to 10 years, if you decide to sell that condo for whatever reason, you're actually going to end up having more equity. Those are what the market trends have been for many years. Now, the difference is you took your $50,000 now, and you have that bottom line number and you have that money with you, and you can use it to do whatever you want, to pay down another mortgage, to pay down some other debts, or to keep in savings or invest it somewhere else. Now, I know I've explained a lot in this video, but really what you should do is sit down with a real estate agent like myself, like someone that you know, and ask them, can you please run the numbers? Ask them, should I sell my unit or should I rent my unit? Different agents may have different answers. So I really hope that this video was helpful. I hope that you got some value out of this information. Again, if this video was helpful and valuable, please make sure to like. Any questions at all, comment below. And if you want more content like this, please make sure to subscribe. And if you wanted to work with me directly as your real estate agent, you can call or text me, you can email me, or you can use the links down below to enter in your information to get a home valuation, or to just visit my website, brandonsellshomes.com. But that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.